People always want to talk about what it's like to kick in a Super Bowl, to play in a Super Bowl. I was very, very fortunate to be able to play in three of them. My first one was Super Bowl 31 when I was playing for the Green Bay Packers and we played the New England Patriots. And I had the honor of kicking off that Super Bowl. I was the kickoff guy and the punter for that team. And it's amazing because you see on TV, it's almost like a strobe. There's so many flashes going off with cameras and phones and things. And people often ask me what it was like to be in that situation. I got a kind of a funny story about that. But first of all, it was an amazing experience, and I was able to kick off, I believe, two of my three Super Bowls. But my first one was obviously I was the most nervous, and I want to talk about learning to deal with your nerves. How do you do that? Because the power of the mind, the power of being nervous, just makes you do crazy things. Well, I had a kicker on that team, on Super Bowl 31 team. His name was Chris Jackie. And Chris Jackie was kind of a jokester. I was a young guy. He was an older guy. So he kind of played some jokes on me and tried to talk me into some crazy things. But that whole week of Super Bowl 31, if I was going to kick off, Chris had me convinced that I was going to trip on my way to the kickoff and I was going to make a fool out of myself. Well, for those who don't know, that's called the turf monster grabbing you. So back in the day, we used to play on this AstroTurf that was really, really sticky. It wasn't like the turf of today. And we used to wear these cleats, these nubby cleats that had little, almost like little nubs on the bottom of our shoes that was really, really tacky. And so you would never slip on this carpet. It was almost like carpet. But every once in a while, we call it the turf monster. And the turf monster would reach up and grab you, and it would trip you because these cleats were so sticky. So he had me convinced and worried the whole week that the turf monster was going to grab me on my way to my first kickoff. So I'll never forget being back there, and that's the last thing I thought before I started my run-up. Don't let the turf monster grab you. Well, I kind of did a high step to the ball. Turf monster did not grab me. The ball got airborne, so I was really, really relieved that happened. But I can remember vividly running up to the ball, and all of a sudden it was almost like somebody had strobe lights on me. All the pictures were being taken, and as soon as the ball left my foot, and you saw it go up in the air, in the crowd on TV, you saw all the lights flashing. It's just an amazing experience. So once that first ball got in the air, everything else followed. Everything else was just easy, and it goes to show you that the pressure you put on yourself is probably the biggest detriment to your performance. The ball didn't change, the field length didn't change, the width of the goalpost didn't change. It was just another game. But the pressure I put on myself, first of all, worrying about the turf monster, but second of all, just knowing that I'm playing in the Super Bowl in front of, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of people, that's pressure I put on myself. And I learned after that how to combat that and how not to do that. And that's something I talk about a little bit about dealing with pressure in my MPK program. It's just something that you become accustomed to, something you learn to deal with. But that experience was really crucial in the longevity of my career.